Welcome to the SoulScape Show, where you will discover the depth and breadth of your soul with your host, Gabrielle Spencer, and special guests, Lisa Barnett and Theresa Vee. Gabrielle Spencer is known for assisting old souls to regain their mastery of conscious creation. She's a multidimensional intuitive channel and channels the 12D golden beings of light and the lords of light. She is a healer, inspirational speaker, author, and practical spiritualist who is considered a global leader on activating your life purpose and abundance. Lisa Barnett is the international best-selling author of From Questioning to Knowing, 73 Prayers to Transform Your Life, and The Infinite Wisdom of the Akashic Records. She is also the founder of the Akashic Knowing School of Wisdom, where she has taught thousands of students worldwide to access personal soul wisdom and guidance to transform their life, working directly with their personal Akashic record keepers. And Theresa Vee. The people who feel called to Theresa are those that know they should have attended Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters before being sent out into the real world, into their greatness. Theresa is known for helping them to create greater health and vibrancy while assisting them in finding the strength in their sensitivity and guiding them in the use of their superpowers. Today's show is about divine wisdom in action. All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is the SoulScape Show. I am Gabrielle Spencer, your host and panelist today with my very special friends, just the girls. We're just hanging out for a coffee clutch today. This is Lisa Barnett and Theresa Vee. Thank you, ladies, for being here. I know, right? It's so much fun to be together, and we have the whole country. So Lisa's in California, I'm in Florida, and you're hanging up there in the Northeast in New York. So look at that. We got a beautiful, weird triangle going on. Then we have somebody from Argentina. How fantastic. And Canada. So we're just all over. Australia we've seen. I'm sure that somebody's going to write us and tell us they're from Europe here any minute. Anyway, it's wonderful to know how our light really does get connected from all around the world, by coming together live like this, and all of us reaching out to support and love one another, especially as we're going through this wacky time. We're all doing the best we can in this craziness. So today we're talking about the divine in action, and it's going to be a great topic because there's so much happening. So I'm going to throw out the first question, and whoever wants to answer it, go right ahead. I want to ask both of you, how has it changed working with the divine and the divine energy and the new realms that are opening? That was broad.
Great, we love broad.
I love broad. Well, you know, it's just I know that things are changing because I know that as I'm working on clients, new things have happened, and I'm so excited. So I want you all to take the question first, and then I'll throw in what I've been seeing. So what are you seeing? What's coming up?
So what I've been noticing I've been noticing it actually for a couple of years, that more and more people are stepping into their divine feminine soul contract. And the divine feminine portal opened and closed again, and then opened again last year in 2019. And so what I'm seeing is so many more people really embodying this energy of divine feminine. And for me, it's exciting to see circles and teachers and all sorts of people really talking about the divine feminine, because what we're really, the huge group soul contract that we all have going on is to rebalance masculine, feminine, divine, masculine, divine, feminine, together, really bringing the world into balance. And I would say in that kind of really big way, that's what's going on right now, right? We have to kind of pull some of it apart and tear it down in order to rebuild it. So I'm excited, is what I would say.
All right. Yeah, I I completely agree with all of that. It's been a really beautiful kind of just a morph of all of us stepping more into our feminine energy and watching that call the healthy masculine energy forward and rebalance things. And it's also interesting then in the wider scope to see how the world is resisting that, and that's been really interesting and really beautiful, that dance of back and forth. What I've noticed, that's the biggest change for me. And it started on the night that there was that 1,000,000-person meditation, which was really interesting to me because that is the night that Gaia stopped accepting energy from the humans. And for me, that's been the biggest shift, is not being able to do any energy work with Gaia. She's sort of closed down and went into herself like we all do when we're doing our own really deep healing, where we just have to shut the outside world off for a little while and really go deep within. So that's been really interesting, and it's changed the way that I work with people in the energy work as well. But in the beauty of what stepped out of that is that the elementals are coming to us, coming to each and every one of us and asking, are you willing to work with us and bring us into your life more? And there's more of a symbiosis between the humans and the natural world now than there has been probably in a really, really long time. And so that was a surprising thing and a really wonderful thing that's I've seen happening in my own work and the way that I've been relating to the whole, and my clients have too. So I didn't expect it. I didn't expect any of this, but you know what? I think at the end, in hindsight, everything is always 20/20, and the angels have been saying, this is the way nature needed to do what is the best for everyone. And so I'm just waiting to be able to see how that all plays out in the end. So yeah, I'm excited too.
I think this is a really exciting time, actually. It's been difficult in the physical in many ways, and it's really brought up a lot of fears for people to let go of. And it's allowed people to see kind of maybe where their weak spots were that might be different than where they were focusing, because where they were focusing is handled. And then, oops, there were other parts that, like, I'm hearing like it's the leaky sieve. That's an old word, like a colander, right? So it was the area was still going on, but you didn't recognize it. And so it's really coming up a lot for people. But what I just was shown and got to work on recently, May 8th. So this is a really big thing for me to actually pay attention to dates, because it's not my personality. Actually, I don't really pay attention to dates and gateways or astral. That's just not my thing this lifetime, where I'm paying attention to that. But for me, I was working on this client May 8th, and for the first time ever in working with a client, the person was awarded or given back, whatever you want to talk, how you want to say it, but her soul seal for what she was activated to do here. And she was activated as a warrior of light. That is what she is doing. And it really impacted me so strongly, because I was like, oh my God, we are on. It is really on. Like, things that we've been preparing for and talking about, and the whole reason that we've been working to open our skills and our abilities and get connected, right? And it's like, okay, well, people, you may not feel like you're ready, but buddy, it's good enough. You got to get going. And of course, we'll improve right as we go. It doesn't mean it stops, but it really just made me go, wow, okay. So the light and what we're here to do is really on. It's not like waiting anymore.
So I'm really curious, because I totally am seeing that, what you're talking about with everyone. Exactly. I'm curious, how has that shown up in your lives? Because I feel like everyone's being activated to the next level, and I'm just curious.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's been about connecting and reclaiming and bringing in aspects of my more galactic selves. So ones that some of them I was not even aware of, like my Lyran golden lion beings. I'm like, cool. I just thought I would see golden lion beings. I didn't know they were Lyran. I didn't know they were me. So that's been super fun. Andromedon, some of these kind of places that I haven't thought about or particularly resonated with before. And all of a sudden they're coming in and kind of showing up really strongly. So for me, that's super exciting. Now I've got more Akashic access prayers to write because I don't have an access prayer for the Lyrans or for the Andromedans. I'm like, okay, I guess that's my next little project. So yeah, so that's been fun.
That's the new realms that we're talking about. Like there are new realms that are opening to us. So the golden beings of light, and then what our existences were in those higher 12D and above realms are now opening, like what you're talking about, that the knowledge and the wisdom and the libraries and all the things that we were able to do at those levels. And so for me, my understanding has been that kind of the tricky part is as we gain this access to be able to bring it in through our own connection and into our current reality, so we can use our cool gifts and abilities here in order to assist the planet and humanity in the transition from this lower denseness to that 4D, 5D, and I was going to say and above, but I'd be thrilled if we could get it there. I'd love to shoot for the 5D. Let's not be crazy. But it is all about these new realms are just amazing. And I find it interestingly, so you're talking about the golden lion, because I've been activating a whole lot of golden dragons lately. So I find that interesting. It just always amazes me, like when we talk and you hear other people and you're like, oh my God, so it's happening for everybody and all at the same time. It's just
yeah. Well, they're really, really coming. So where are the golden dragons from? Do you know?
12D, the golden sun. Yes.
Okay. Right.
The golden beings of light, the golden sun, all of it. It just tells you that we are definitely, that 12D realm has opened and it's opening more and more, and people are actually reactivating those lifetimes to gain the access and the skills and abilities from those lifetimes, because that's the next level. We are using golden light, very strong, pure light for healing on the physical, the etheric, energetics, and spiritual levels. And that encompasses all of that ability. I was shown it in my masterclass I'm doing right now for healing the soul. They showed me the DNA, and instead of like having the separate strands, they actually showed them all coming together and forming like, a round rope. Just they're not separate, but they're not together either. It was a really fascinating thing. So, we've been so busy with the whole, activating the strands, but now it's bringing them together to work as one. And so it just completely amazing what's happening, and so quickly, right? We've all been in this for a long time, and probably a lot of the people here with us have been in the spiritual movement and working on themselves forever. And that's what I mean by game on. It's like all the big guns are coming out. So, yeah, Theresa, you're going, yes. So tell us.
How about you, Theresa? What are you noticing?
Well, it's really interesting because I'm just sitting here listening to this conversation. Like, I wish I could go back and tell my 5th grade self that I'd be sitting here talking about golden dragons one day.
Golden dragons are amazing.
All dragons are amazing.
But,
but it's really funny because for me, there's been a lot of fire activation. A lot of us getting back to those fire aspects of our personality, embracing the things that we considered, scary, like anger and ferocity and the intensity of our purpose. And as that fire activates within us, it activates our creativity and our passion. And I always say spiritual and sensitive people have the worst digestion of anyone I know. So as this fire is activating, I'm really excited because our whole digestive system is going to change in our 3D to 4D body, and then we're gonna keep moving forward from there. The Christ consciousness has been coming in all the time, you know, like no matter what I'm doing something completely different, the Christ consciousness comes in and surrounds the process. So it's that golden energy that is pretty constantly with us now, and that's been a big shift too. You know, it's just like the planet can sustain it for all the time now, you know, as opposed to before where it would come for a blink and then be like, okay, I'm out, you know, until you need me again. So that's been really beautiful to see too. And just people too, like the muggles being able to walk in that kind of energy as well, which really excites me. So I think if we all as a collective can move past our fear, this will be a lot smoother. And I just want to share one little thing because it ties in. I had this experience going to like a small health food store the other day, and I walked in and I did my shopping, and on the way out, I said to the woman, I said, you know, I have to tell you, the energy in this store is fantastic. And she was like, oh, thank you so much. Like they work really hard, I guess, on the energy. But what I realized is no matter where I've been, there's been this walking through these push-pull pockets of energy. Like you walk in, you're coming from your car, doing your mantras, you know, you're all 5D, and you walk into the store and you walk through a cloud of 3D, you know, and then you step into the next aisle and it's 4D. And this was the first experience I'd had since all of this started where that vibration just stayed constant. And it was really beautiful. And I was like, yes, we can do it. We can do it. So I can't wait. I'm hoping that little store just radiates that out to the rest of New York.
That's fantastic. Well, I feel like that's what the warriors of light are meant to do. This is what we're meant to do, is really use our light and the golden light to heal on every level that's needed, even ill intent. This has been really interesting, the words that have been coming up, but any ill intent to also be washed away or contained or released, whatever is needed, the golden light knows. And it's using our ability to use our ability to help that happen, you know, because that's what I feel is needed, and that's what's being activated. Like all of us are out there, and we have to be conscious of not just our own selves in our home, but actually, you know, do your neighborhood, spread it out. Every time you see something that doesn't feel right or resonate, you know, to send golden light to it so that it can be brought into balance. I mean, you guys started out with the male-female balance, but in everything we have to be brought into the balance of oneness. And so that seems to be the biggest discordance right now. What that's happening out there is that people are separating versus coming together in many ways. And then there are people that are coming together. So it still is separate because we have pockets, like you talked about, pockets of energy. We have the same pockets of people that we're coming together, but we need to keep going. Big stuff is happening.
I still feel though that it's a more unifying energy, or a unity focused energy, than it was way back in February. Like I do feel the difference there. But I think the tendency, especially, I think the media is really serving to drive people apart and drive people separately, because together, when we're unified, we're really powerful. And I think that's what we need to remember, is when we're unified, we're really powerful, and just keep it there.
You have nailed exactly what I am talking about. When we know that the media is creating a separation, we should be beaming light to the media for all ill intent and ill will or negativity, for it all to be transmuted so that it can be moved through, so that it doesn't have the power to promote fear and separation and discord. And so it's looking at these larger influences and using our abilities. That's how I'm going to just use the term, win the war. The light is meant to spread all around and not stay contained in our pockets where we're safe and it's easier to maintain our energy, you know, obviously by, you know, not necessarily engaging, but we need to engage. That's what it means to be on the board. We need to be aware of what's happening so that we can go out. Not that I'm leaving my house. I am leaving my house. We're in phase 1 here, people.
Oh, nice. We're not even there.
Yes, we're fully in phase 1 now, thankfully. But it's been great in many ways. But it has brought my neighborhood together, which has been really a lot of fun. And I had no idea we had so many people living here.
Right?
You're like, where'd all these people come from? I had no idea we had so many graduating seniors in our neighborhood, because everybody's putting up lawn signs. Right. It's like, wow, there are a lot of kids in our neighborhood. So anyway, it's been fun for all of those things. But this is what's really been coming in for me, is this whole idea and energy of, okay, we all know this, but now we really have to do this. We have to take that active participation to help people stay in that pocket of higher energy all the time, no matter where you go, right? I know that I stay out of big box stores if I can help it during peak time.
Or totally.
I still go out all the time and I don't really worry about it, but I try to schedule my day so that it's kind of like I'm not as bombarded. But I think that that's the point, is that we have to really be conscious. That's what it means. Really conscious to spread light where it's not and where it needs to be, to create the change that we want, so that it's not battling this work, all this great work we've done to come this far, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and as things open back up again, right? Continuing to stay connected and in our heart, and to pull our groups together. I know it's been fun, for me to do more Facebook Lives and just kind of show up and do what I can to help, right, where we can. And I think it's been very positive. I literally see, groups all over the world who really are coming together on Zoom. I definitely spend way more time on Zoom than I ever have in my life. But it's so cool to really feel that community, really connecting, like I haven't seen it anywhere else, even, at a big event sometimes, because you're one person here, one person there, whatever that is. But it's been so beautiful, and to see these 1 million people meditations, and there was another one today, and it's so powerful. I am so excited about how we really are all coming together to transform the world, humanity, everything, to really shift this into the new levels, and no going back now, right? So
no, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. And actually, like you said in the beginning, Theresa, I hear this a lot, and I feel the same. And my husband was saying to me the other day, after he was on a spiritual call, he's like, is it wrong for me to say I'm excited that we're here, that we're finally moving? And I said to him, no, this is what we've been working for so long, knowing it's coming, and that it's exciting, and we're ready. And that's all that we need to know. We're ready, and all of us are here. So I guess here's my next question. What should people do? Or you can interpret that however you want. What should people do to be able to bring forward their gifts even more? Like we've been talking about, you need to be tapping in and using your gifts and your ability. So if they feel like they're not doing that, or they don't know how, what would you say for them?
Lisa, do you want to take this, or?
Go ahead.
Okay. I would say just do it. It's like, what brings you joy? What makes you happy? If you had nothing else in the whole world to do right now, what would you choose to do with your time? Which a lot of us don't. Not everyone, but and what I think also is really important is we are being called into new levels of trust of our souls knowing, and of the divine. And when we are out of that trust, it makes it harder to be in our zone of genius. It makes it harder to be in our creativity, because we go down into the lower chakras and we move into, even if it's not ours, we might be feeling someone else's fear and lack and limitation and all of those things. And when we can move into trust of saying, you know what, everything may look a mess right now. You know, everyone has their own path that they're walking. Everyone has their own struggles. But the divine has never let me fall before. And there's community. So it's really leaning into the support that's there, so you can get back into your heart. You can get back into your creativity, because it's only when our lower three chakras are taken care of and we're able to rest, that our food, shelter, all of those things are taken care of, that we can move into the higher vibrations. So it's when those things pull us out that we have to be really conscious of community, like you were talking about, Lisa, you know, really connect in, and your practice, whatever that is, and just start there and feel what starts to call you. Try something new. You know, you may have wanted to start melted crayon art, or just try it out, but go for it. You know, what else could you possibly do? Get creative and just play. And I think that's the big gift of this time, is we've had more playtime as adults than we've had in a really long time. So, you know, and again, not taking anything away from the struggles people are having. I really understand that not everybody is in a luxury position. And it's just a matter of, how can I move towards trust? How can I move into love again right now?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I find too that, you know, if we can get into nature, even if it's, you know, a little neighborhood park, right? Sit under a tree, ground, you know, lean up against that beautiful big tree trunk and let yourself, you know, kind of melt into its arms, ground yourself through the tree and the roots, and just ask for, you know, the tree to help you to release the depression, the weight, the heaviness, other people's energy. And so I'm a big fan. The Akashic Record Keepers have given me 73 healing prayers. And so there's just, you know, prayers to clear your energy field, prayers to, you know, kind of move out of judgment, prayer for just about everything you can think of. But, and I find they're really useful because they're easy and light, right? When we feel stuck. But I so agree, Theresa, you know, as we're working with our lower chakras, really clearing old energy out of our first, because that's where so much of that kind of pain and trauma and death is actually stored in the lower first chakra. So as we try and ground, we don't often want to go down there, but sitting next to a tree, you know, and just asking the tree and, you know, Mother Earth to help us to recycle these old energies, even if we don't know what they are. It can be a very beautiful clearing process just out in nature, and just asking the earth, asking our angels, asking our record keepers, our guides, our ascended masters, whoever, all of the above, right?
Absolutely.
To help us to clear and release these old energies. And now we get to call in more galactics, right? So, but the thing the record keepers were just wanting to talk about is this creativity, because this is, you know, third chakra energy. And as we can do creative, fun things, get our third chakra moving, opening, and actually spinning faster, bigger, it makes it easier to create and manifest in the world. So whether you're looking to create more abundance of money, of love, of health, whatever it is, playing, doing creative things, you know, drawing with crayons, whatever it might be, journaling, starting a book, whatever it is. Yeah, that all is so useful for the body, right? And for our energy field. So
this is all important. And I know that it's important because whenever I am feeling down, if I may listen to a short MP3, but I find it is true what they say, laughter is the best medicine, and it does keep you from going deeper into the despair and the desperation and all the things that are easy to fall into when you feel like you can't get anything to move. And when I have just taken the time to walk away from all the things that are happening, and I have a lot of things that are happening since I have young children, and my husband did just finish his PhD, so we are done with that. But that was, I know, that was a huge undertaking. And so there was a lot going on. And it just seems to me that whenever your mind, because it's all mind driven and emotion, that emotion and mind connection, when your emotions are going, the mind, the subconscious just brings up all the memories that it has and just keeps reminding you, and then that just creates and reinforces the cycle that we're trying to get out of by, maybe thinking up something new, which of course the mind only knows what it knows. But the divine and your highest self and your soul infinitely actually know and have access to a whole lot more as far as universal information goes. So the part I think her name was Erin. So we have two questions. So Erin was talking about her physical self and falling into depression. And so Lisa's answered it. She says, "Hi, Erin. I do find nature as help for depression as well as any form of exercise. Call your guides as you walk and talk to them. They're waiting to help." Thank you, Lisa, for answering her. I wanted to make sure we got her an answer. So then Melissa's asking, "I'm curious about working with the elementals. Maybe they can inspire her passion and creativity again." Does anybody have an answer for that?
So there's a couple of things. There's so much that I want to say based on what you just said, but we're going to stick to the topic.
No, you guys have to stick.
Well, there's one thing I did want to say to Erin. I just want to normalize what you're going through as well. I think probably 98% of the population right now is going through a low-level depression, at least sometimes. I've been to my acupuncturist recently, thank God it's qualified as medical, and said to him, I'm riding a low-level depression sometimes, even though I do all the spiritual work. It's just happening. So I just want you to also feel normal, because it's nothing you're doing wrong or not working hard enough. It's just part of the experience right now. And Lisa's advice is spot on. It's amazing. And so the elementals, absolutely. Creativity, when we're in our creative zone, that's when we have infinite access to our guidance. That's the easiest time for our guidance to come in, because we are just open vessels and it's flowing through us. And the elementals are a lot of fun, and they can play and do. And so it's really interesting, because I've just shared a little bit. I'm doing a 4-part series coming up on the elementals, because they've been that present and prevalent. So it's, absolutely call on them. Feel into which realm you want to work with for the specific thing that you're doing, and invite them in. And I always call on my angels to come in too.
I don't know anything about the elementals. So when you say call on the level and what it is that they work with, is that in your program, or is that something you can tell us, okay, this level does this and this level does that?
Well, it's all.
You have a quick and easy reference guide.
It's not even levels. It's like, if you're doing something playful and fun, and you might want to call on the fairies. If you're planting a garden, you might want to bring in some fairies. If you're, it's like, if you're doing something else, if you're really burning through a lot of karmic stuff, you may want to bring in some dragons. They're not really elementals, but they were at one time, and they've ascended from the elemental. They've moved beyond. So it's like, if you just look up the elementals, you can feel into, there's like the fairies and the gnomes and the salamanders. There's one kingdom for every single element. So what are you doing? What feels true? And just play with them and get to know them. But that's always also why I call on Archangel Michael and the Legion of Light when I do things like this, when I'm getting to know new kingdoms. Because just like I don't want to hang out with people who are really low vibe and they're going to try to bring me down, I don't want to hang out with anyone in any other kingdom that's that way either. So I always ask to work with the highest vibration that I can. And so I recommend that as well as you're playing with getting to know new beings.
Thank you for adding that. That's very important. And I'm happy that you shared it. Okay, Deborah says, my sister passed away Sunday and being new to spiritual growth, 6 months now, I think I was moving forward quickly, but now I'm stopped and feel like I'm going backwards. What do you suggest?
You know, what I'm hearing to share is, you know, we are human. We're still, no matter, I always say, no matter how much I would like to not be, I know that I am, and that it is so important, especially right now as we're really going through so many high kind of vibrational energy portals and doorways, that if we can really experience the human experience, that means that feel the depression and invite it to, you know, love it and let it go, to feel the grief and the sadness and the anger and whatever all that comes up with the passing of your sister. I know often if we lose somebody suddenly, if it's a, you know, an accident, an illness, there's a lot of anger that's in there. And it's spiritual to feel anger. It's not spiritual to suppress it.
Preach.
So it's really, yeah, it's really, really, you know, I can, my dog agrees. I can tell you that when my best friend died 40 years ago and I was so angry, I went off on a whole nother path. And it took me years and years and years because I wasn't really willing to experience the grief and the pain and the anger and to work through it. And so it actually does sometimes derail us. So let yourself be angry, let yourself be sad, let yourself feel the grief, cry. It's months and months and months, or sometimes it's years, you know, that we really miss that person in physical form. Even though we can know they're always there, we miss that warm body, we miss that person that we loved. And that's part of why we come here and are human, is to have the emotions, to have the experience, to feel it all. And so it really is important to allow yourself to feel it so that you can move forward and keep moving through. It's not like it ever goes away. It's just it, but it can get lighter and easier as you move forward.
Yeah. Deborah, I just want to say I'm so sorry for your loss. I know it's got to be really hard to navigate, especially now. And I love what Lisa just shared about anger and about feeling it, because I feel like we, as spiritual people, don't often want to go through the depths of our grief, because it doesn't just mean being sad. It means moving through the whole tantrum that we throw at the divine, like, this isn't fair. Why do I have to go through this? Or why did she have to go through this? Or whatever. And one of the biggest spiritual awakenings that I had in my life was when someone that was guiding me spiritually said to me, you know, it's okay to be angry at God. And I said, what? She said, yeah, God can take it. If God can't take your anger, then who can? So let it fly. So I would get in my car, because I lived in an apartment building in New York and I didn't want my neighbors to think I was more crazy than they already thought I was. I would get in my car and I would be driving and I would be screaming at the divine, like screaming until I had nothing left to say, like a 2-year-old throwing a tantrum. And then what would happen is that gave just release. And I had nothing left and I was empty. And then I felt my angels, I felt the divine wrap their arms around me and say, oh, finally, you're done with that. And now we can hold you. And I was able to move more into a deep relationship and a trust with the divine through allowing myself to get angry and just let all of that out. So I don't think you're moving backwards. I think you've hit a really painful moment. And I think that as you let yourself allow the pain and you're not going to get stuck there. It's just going to move through in waves that come and go. But I think you'll find that you're exactly where you want to be on your spiritual path. So I just wanted to share that with you because it was a pivotal moment in my life.
If I may share too, Deborah, I lost my dad in December of 2018, about a week before Christmas. It was really a very interesting experience because I connect for people when someone has passed over. And I've gained a lot of insight from the higher selves of those people. And it has always amazed me in many ways that we fear death a lot because it's an unknown. But actually, every time I connect, the people are truly, they've been set free in many ways that they didn't experience here and that they weren't ever able to get to, even if it was something that they wanted. And I always have the sense and the understanding that in the place that they are, they have the opportunity to exponentially advance themselves with the teachings and the energy and the help and the assistance, and that there's less resistance when you've crossed over. So when my dad passed, it was a really amazing experience because after, really feeling like what you all said, like, wow, I mean, I can't believe that he's not going to call me every morning. I can't believe that every morning when I'm driving my kids to school, I'm not going to have a chat with my dad. And my son said my dad would talk to both of us because he'd be the last one dropped off. And so he was like, I really miss Jaju. And I'm like, I know. And I would miss every day that we would have great conversations so lively. My dad was really into politics. And so am I. So we'd always have a great time. And my dad is from New York. So just a bigger, larger than life person always. But I realized, and it gave me real comfort, and it helped me to give my mom comfort. I'm the fifth child of 7. And the way it all worked out for us to go to the funeral, because some of us lived there and then others had to travel, I ended up being what I called the cleanup crew, because others got there first and they were there for my mother for the initial shock and getting the funeral and everything. And I literally arrived the day before, and then I was staying through the weekend after. And so then it ended up just being me and my mom and my sister. But I was the transition crew, actually. It's like helping my mom, like when all the hubbub is gone, right? And all the people that were there to celebrate the life of is over, then you get that depression that, oh my God, this is real. And it was a really amazing thing to be able to share with her another perspective of death, and that for my dad, this was the greatest gift to allow him this time, because right now, like we keep talking about how we are exponentially being called to the light, called to serve the light, called to be warriors for the light here on this planet. For each person that passes, and we're going to see a lot more of it too as this progresses, it's because it's their opportunity to get recalibrated quickly and to come back and to fulfill their soul's role. So that for me was what made it better, is to have the understanding that this is the best thing that could happen for my dad. Now, we have conversations and I can hear him in my head for the various things that are going on as to what he would say. And I can tell you I miss him. So I hope, Deborah, that we've given you some various explanations and some peace about it, to celebrate your sister and know that she's with you, and that for her, this is the greatest gift from the divine ever, and that she can come back. So okay, so people are writing in. All right, so do you want to take some live calls?
Sure.
People have had their hands up like a while. Cheryl, are you still out there? Let's hit allow to talk. Can you speak? You see your hand up, but I don't see a microphone. Oh, there it is. unmute. Maybe.
First of all, Cheryl, that is a great picture. I love it.
You can see a picture?
I can.
I don't have a picture. Okay, so Cheryl, if you can unmute yourself. I'm hitting unmute, but it's not doing it, so you might have to do it from your side. I only have a CB, it says.
I have a picture.
I'm sad. All right, Cheryl, if you can unmute yourself, sweetie, I'm gonna go hit Melissa. All right, Melissa, are you there? Can you unmute yourself? Love it. Nobody can unmute themselves. I can't unmute you either.
I think I did it. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Woohoo! All right, go ahead, Melissa.
That's just because I lucked out. A big thing flashed across the screen and said,
Good to hear. All right, tell us how we can help you.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what subject, because you kind of touched me on the last one, because I lost my son, and it's so interesting because he, I mean, I've lost everybody in my life, and he was, he and I were the last of the family, and we were, spiritual partners is probably the biggest loss, because being best friends and really, just like we lived our lives, our whole lives together, where it, everything was a message. I mean, we paid attention to everything. We were just real connected to nature, and so wherever we were, something was going on. He and I were having a intuitive conversation together about what was really going on. And so that was probably the hardest thing. I guess when you were just talking and my heart goes out to you about your dad, the thing that came up to me was, like so many people said to me right in the beginning, oh, we know you're going to be fine because you're such a spiritual being. We've never met anybody like you. We know that you're going to be fine. And, in that beginning time, I thought I was going to be fine too, but I found that wasn't true. And everything that I believed spiritually about death got, I don't know how to say this, but I mean, it got ripped out, it got twisted around, it got, everything you could imagine happened to that for me. And I'm still, I don't know. It's like I've wavered. One of the things that bothered me the most, in fact, it was just, I think yesterday, though, I heard somebody talking about how, it was a medium, and she was talking about people that crossed over and that, they're angry and they're doing all this stuff, and they're like, and then there's this other spiritual perspective that once they do, everything falls away. That was a burden, and they're all in love and light. And it's like, I'm having a hard time with trying to find, it's like I know it from a wisdom perspective, what I know to be true, but my emotional body, I think it's my emotional body, pain body probably, the pain of it just kind of rocks around. And I don't know, something happened, I got really excited about trying to open up my gifts and really get them out there and be of service and really help people, because honestly, that's all I've ever wanted to do since I was a little kid. I just wanted to help people and be of service, and not in a codependent way, but in a way that I felt like I had something, to offer to help ease people's pain in a way. I don't know how to put that, but I ran into someone yesterday, and she was like telling me, trying to tell me how I changed her life just by saying hi, basically. There wasn't a whole lot, but so I listened to her. I really, really listened and thought, you have to do something. It's really important. But what I've been baffled by is at least the last 3 weeks, I have just been on this monotone, flatlined. I don't have any passion for anything anymore. I can't, I haven't painted, and I can't even pick up a crayon to just horse around. And I just, even when I hear things that normally I would be like, ooh, you know, because I'm just a really passionate kind of person about just life, but I'm not. I don't know what's going on. It's just almost like I'm observing from this flat place, and I don't like it. It's very unfamiliar, and I don't know what to do about it because
Okay, we've got
to
several ideas. Hold on, Melissa.
Okay,
Lisa, you're on mute, just so you know, in case you want to talk. Theresa, I see an angel near her. I would suggest, Melissa, that you tap into your angels, because I can clearly see a huge, huge angel behind you, kind of off to the left side, I guess, kind of not fully behind, but like off to this side over here. So tap into your angels and ask for the support, because I feel like that's what that angel is about, is that support piece. So I was pointing to Theresa, like, Theresa, do you see the angels? So
oh, sorry, I wasn't sure what was going on.
that's what I was praying, like, Theresa, do you see them? So Melissa, your angels are with you, and so my suggestion to you is that's where you go. Who shows up, whoever it is, if it's, you know, Kuan Yin is always with me. She seems to pop in all the time. And so your angel is right behind you. I'm going to just say your guardian angel, but it feels bigger. But you go in and you connect and you find out what your message is, but find what it is that you need for the inspiration. And first, the support. I feel like that's the way you're going to find your inspiration once again, to know that you're supported and loved unconditionally, and that all that you're here for will come through when you least expect it. All of us got into what we do not because we ever knew what we were doing. Right?
Love it.
I mean, that's just the truth of it. Like, we just keep going, and then, you know, before we know it, you know, the next thing pops in, the next class pops in, and, you know, everybody might want to think that we have these great year-long plans of all the stuff we're going to do. Does not happen that way. See, right? So
Right.
That's what maybe the audience, what you all don't really understand, is that we're just listening, and as soon as it pops in, it's then our physical ability to take action and to put it into motion. That's what you're seeing. It's not because we planned it out for weeks and months. It's because literally it comes in, we write it, we send out a blast or whatever it is we're doing, and we just go. And I know all you guys are that way too. And so this is the part that we all need to remember, is that the game isn't played because we have a long-term plan. Our long-term plan is that we're in service. That's your long-term plan.
Yeah.
And the intermediate steps of how you're gonna fulfill that, that's what you're connecting for. So, sweetheart, thank you for sharing. And please, I'd love to hear back too about what you get from that connection, because it's very strong, super strong. Okay,
Wow.
sweetie?
Can I just
Yeah.
add one really quick
Yes.
thing, Gabrielle? Is that okay? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just want to say, like Lisa was saying before, and I said, Melissa, please get pissed off. No parent should ever have to go through the death of a child. That's not the natural order of things. That's not, you know, that is the hardest thing you can go through. And I feel your spirituality has carried you through, and you've not allowed yourself to go to that place where you're really angry. And what that's doing is it's dulling your high emotions and it's dulling your low emotions. Like, you can't feel the highest highs without feeling the lowest lows. Like, we block ourselves in all directions. So and what Archangel Michael showed me is he's standing there waiting for this, because he wants to give you the same gift that I was talking about him giving me before. When you're done, when you're spent, he is going to wrap his wings around you and say, Melissa, are you ready now? And then not only that, but your relationship with your son will start to change, because he's been sending you signs that you might be missing because you're in this numb place right now. So I just felt it really important to share that with you, because it feels like the missing link. And then there's all this connection waiting for you, because your heart is so beautiful.
Thank you, Theresa.
Oh, thank you so much. That was huge. And it's, yeah, I get it. I totally get it of not, yeah, I got it. Thank you. That's huge.
We love you.
Oh, I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sweetheart. All right. We want to hear. Don't forget, Melissa, drop me an email, okay? I'm very serious. Okay, sweetie.
I'm going to be going to Melissa for sessions.
All right. Let's see. I don't know who this person is. Kat. Is Kat there?
Hi.
Kat is there.
Thank you for taking my call. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
I really appreciated the last call and all of your insight that you've been sharing. I'm trying to, I feel like I have to choose what door to open, right? Like, and I'm just trying to determine like what I can offer that's meaningful. And I've been, some painful things like came back that I've been working on, and I have like this weird pain in my leg that is, I think it's karmic because it's just non, medical. And so I just thought if you had any insight, I would just love to hear it. Thank you so much.
Lisa. I heard Lisa even before she got to the Akashic Record pain part. Take it away, lady. Go for it.
Yeah, no, we can actually do some clearing around your leg and that pain. Actually, what they're just, the record keepers are showing me some different lifetimes, and it's actually not just Kat who has had this experience. So we can do a group healing around clearing past life karma of war is how I get it. And so we want to complete that old karmic pattern of having to, to fight for the right instead of to be able to be the peace to shift the world. And so there's a lot of that energy on the planet. And I think it gets triggered in us physically sometimes because so much of it's unconscious and really suppressed. And so that said, let's go back through all time, space continuum and clear all the lifetimes in which we lost our legs, our limbs, our life, fighting in wars. We want to clear all the lifetimes where we were forced to fight, where we didn't even want to fight. So we want to clear all of those karmic patterns. Because again, it's like there's a lot of energy and anger in it, in a way.
Yeah.
Right. My family's coming home, so the dog is acting up, but I can clear anyway.
That's the true Buddha in the grocery store there, right there. Got to be able to do it no matter where you are, no matter what's going on.
Right. That's why those expos are such good practice, aren't they?
This is true. I mean, well, this is part, I feel, of as we're all stepping into that next phase of mastery. It's being able, it's not having an hour to meditate. It's being able to be connected instantaneously, getting the information you need or the clearing or what have you.
Right. Okay. I'm plugging in. So let's see if this works better.
No, wait.
Okay, perfect.
Wow.
So,
look at you.
Now you don't have to listen to the dog bark as loud while we clear these war lives.
Yeah. Well, it's really important, especially now, as we said, the warriors of light have been activated. So it's interesting. Correlation.
Right. And so it's important to clear like the old patterns of like having to pick up a sword or whatever, a gun, whatever it is. We picked up a spear so that we can do it through our love and through our compassion and through our light. And so we just want to clear all that pain, all that trauma, all of that physical level pain, emotional level of pain. And we want to clear all the soul contracts we have with all of the other warriors and the group contracts with the other warriors.
Okay. So I'm starting to feel that all the way down through like hearts and backs and spines and extremities. So if you're feeling energy tingling, hopefully you'll start to then bring in the high, beautiful golden light, of course, to fill ourselves up as we clear and heal these wounds, these beliefs, these patterns through all time, space, continuum, releasing all of these old contracts. Good. Oh, good. That feels better. And then we want to, it almost feels like the future is what I'm hearing. Usually I like to reclaim gifts, but apparently there are not as many in the past as are in the future. So let's bring all these gifts, all the lifetimes we've known how to awaken through love, through compassion, through our hearts, how we know how to stand in our power and our truth and shine our light out into the world. We want to reclaim all of that wisdom, all those gifts, and bring that into our present bodies right here and right now in this very moment, so that we can easily be the warriors of light, because we remember how to do it. We know how to do it as we go forward from this moment. Beautiful. Oh, good. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up, Kat. That was great.
It's wonderful. I think the last 2 months, every time I meditate, they've been so sharp and piercing. And anytime I go into my heart, they just vibrate. And I was like, this is something. So thank you. I'm so grateful. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So now we're going to mute you, my dear. Thank you, Kat. I just love the warrior tie-in. I think that's fantastic. All right. Surf Dog 100. I know. All right. Hit unmute. Surf Dog 100. If you can unmute yourself from your side. Looks like they have themselves. There we go. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How can we help you, Surf Dog 100?
I didn't try. Sorry, I wasn't trying to ask the question.
Oh, well, you're on. Tell us, how do you feel today?
I feel great.
Good. All right. Well,
I have food in my mouth.
All right, sweetheart. Well, then we're going to just send you the blessing unless you have something that you want to ask us.
I think you had a great show.
Thank you.
A lot's going on. I find a lot of good support with you and your guests. And I can relate to everything that you guys were saying. And I thought the advice was really good.
Aw. Well, I thank you, sweetie.
Yeah,
because we love it.
I'm grateful I found you. Yeah.
I'm glad that you're here. This is why we show up. It's what makes our hearts, it's what makes my heart sing. I tell everyone, as long as I get to have fun and laugh with my girl pals, then I'll keep doing it, because that's what makes it really great. And I love connecting with you and everyone who shows up and talks with us. It makes me so happy. It makes me feel like, you're not just whistling in the wind, right? That there are real people out there, and I love connecting with you. So thank you, sweetheart, for being here.
Hey, Gabrielle, are you cool if I tell a really funny story about you?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So because you just said the real Buddha in the grocery store moment, and it made me think of you, because an expo, and there's a woman there selling like all sorts of facial creams and all the things. So Gabrielle's being really nice, and she's like, oh, will you let me try them on you? So she's like, sure, right? So I went to go get a cup of coffee or go to the bathroom or whatever, and I come back, and now Gabrielle's got like, you know, she's been done with whatever, and she turns to me and she says, which eye looks better, right? And because she's got cream on one of them, but it's not telling me which one. And the woman is sitting there who put it on her crying, like tissues and all out crying. And I'm just like, I've just walked up and I'm like, what did you do to her? You know, like, what just happened here? And I'm like, first of all, I got the eye wrong. The stuff was not good.
Didn't do anything for me yet.
No, it really didn't work. But it ended up that she connected the woman to, was it her mom? Like her mom who had passed on, who had a really powerful message for her about life purpose. But it's the Buddha in the grocery store things. You're doing the most mundane things, and it's like, you know, you get an eye cream put on. It's like, hey, by the way, your mom, you know, and we can all do that in our own way. And, you know, whatever it is, whether it's just picking up groceries for a neighbor or doing whatever. But yeah, that story makes me laugh every time I think of it, because she's all absorbed in the eye cream and this poor woman's just crying.
It was, I mean, I remember, and it's actually making me cry, because I remember she was just a wonderful woman. She's so sweet and so heartbroken because her mother had passed on, and she felt lost, totally lost. And it just fell out of my mouth. And it's so funny because one of my very good friends who attends all the shows and, you know, does whatever I need when I'm out speaking and such, and she was there, and she goes, I thought you don't do that anymore in public just for people. And I'm like, what was I supposed to do? Just, you know,
it was really funny.
Go with it, right? But thank you for reminding me.
And that was legit 10 minutes before I met Lisa, so.
I know. See, it is just about being present, though, I think, as far as everything that really happens for us, is that if we're just in the moment and we really are in our hearts, right? That's what we've been talking about always. And I remember too that I had to go to the bathroom, and that's how she caught me. It was like as I was going, and you said to me, have you been to the bathroom? And I'm like, no.
It was like 40 minutes later.
I know, it was a long time later. But see, you get so caught up that it's like, it just doesn't matter. You're just in the moment. So I really love that. Anyway, so I think this is great. So thank you for that. All right. So ladies, I know that both of you have awesome programs, and generally we don't talk a lot about programs on the show that people are offering, but I want both of you to talk about yours. Lisa, you want to go? Theresa, do you remember?
I'm looking. You remember, right?
I'm like going through my
files right now. First, that
right.
It's going to be on their replay page, and it's soulscape.tv Lisa-Theresa. Isn't that great? Lisa-Theresa. I liked it.
Perfect.
I know, right? So if you want to know more, I can tell you, go for it. Lisa, tell us first.
Okay, yeah. So I have a live online Akashic Record workshop that is coming up. It starts in less than a month. It starts June 18th. It is a 6-week course in which I teach you to access your own personal Akashic records. And I teach you the 5-step wisdom prayer system that the Akashic Masters have given me. And we get online and I teach you 7 healing prayers, 3 different access prayers that relate to different star seed soul lineages, which is really fun for people. We have, you can ask me questions. We do exercises. There's recordings of everything, so you can go back and re-listen and keep it in your own personal library. So just, it's the place to start if you want to learn to access your own soul's plan, your own soul guidance, have to be able to converse with the Akashic Record keepers with ease and get amazing information. Learning to access your Akashic Records is phenomenal and profound. And so that is starting live really soon. June 18th.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is soon.
Yeah.
Okay, Theresa, do you remember? It's the Healing Temple. Oh, I can't hear you.
I muted my mic so I wouldn't be too loud over Lisa. So, so the first, the package has 3 audios. The first is a group healing temple session where we go really, really deep on releasing trauma, specifically trauma that we've accumulated from the last 3 months of being a human being on this planet. Wow. So we went really deep in releasing the trauma and integrating new energies that came from our galactic support system and our dragon support system, and our elementals came to the party as well. So that's a really powerful session. I saw lives changed in that session. So I am so thrilled to be able to offer it. The second item is a body elemental workshop that's pre-recorded, and it's incredible. Your life can change in, I can't even tell you how many ways when you start working with your body elemental, because it will help you to synchronize yourself with the heartbeat of the planet so that you're working completely with nature and with your own nature as opposed to against it. And then we also have the crystalline chakra alignment audio, which is part of the process of moving our chakras from the carbon-based old color system to the more crystalline-based new color system, which is a beautiful audio, and it's really high vibration and incredible. And then if you choose, you can have a 45-minute personal phone session in the angelic support realm in our healing temple with me. We'll work really hard together with the angels in a space of joy and love to get messages and to bring up any energy that's ready to be cleared, rectified, DNA that's ready to be rewired, all of the things. So you'll receive messages and healing and an integration, and the angels will tell you your next steps moving forward. So it's really a beautiful experience. If you feel called to it, I would be honored to work with you in that situation.
I love it. I love it. I think that both of you are amazing people, and that you provide just a beautiful blessing for all of us. And just knowing you has truly enriched my life. And that word came from up there. I don't use enrich, so that's fantastic. I love it. So, and if everyone, when you go out there, again, it's soulscape.tv/Lisa-Theresa. And I've put it in the chat box for you, and it will be on the replay as well. So there's other things in that page as well. Everybody has free gifts out there, myself included, and my monthly inner circle group, Soul Awakenings, is also out there. So you can check that out, because I really believe that now, above all else, we need support. We need continuous assimilation and integration of all the energies that just keep coming in and bombarding us like crazy, and bringing up things we need to release and things that we need to move into. And so that is what that Soul Awakenings Inner Circle is all about. And I hope that you will join us. It's a month-by-month thing. And so it'll be great fun, just like what you've experienced tonight, because it's totally group driven. And that's what I love about you ladies coming to be here and just going free flow and allowing whatever the group that is assembled to what they need to be addressed. I mean, that's what I love about the panelist discussions, because it's really about what's happening in the moment and what we can do to meet people's needs. So I think you've done a beautiful job, and I really appreciate all of you. You guys are awesome. And I hope to see you soon in person.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
When are you all going back out there?
I don't know when.
Fall, summer. I'm thinking by July. It's time for us to start getting back out in public and doing more work.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go to the Caribbean, though. Maybe I'll be on your coast. I'm craving that aqua blue water.
Me too.
I think we stay south of here, though, for now. I recommend it.
Caribbean, though, but I was looking, I was like, oh, but I guess we can't plan, so here we are.
You know what? What's amazing is that there's a huge shift again coming where people are moving to different places based on, right, the energetics. So I'm curious as to the people that are out there, what are you feeling? I mean, where's the move and what have you? And actually just learned of additional people like ourselves that just moved out here like an hour from me. So I can see that communities are starting to form in various places. And I was curious, and I want to ask you guys really quick before we go. So what do you feel is the shift even in spiritual leadership? Do you see a shift? Is there one? And if so, what does it feel like?
I think the shift is in all leadership, and I think it's integrity. I think we are all here. Everyone here is the next wave of leaders, and I think integrity is key. And I think what we're discovering now more than anything as a collective is that leadership is a quality that we actually need in leaders.
Okay.
That was so nicely said. Thank
and
you.
Connecting. Richard needs a personal with Lisa. Okay, so we will get that to you as well, so you can do that. All right. Are you doing personal upgrades through your program, Lisa?
I do. So my program, there is a 25% discount on private one-on-one sessions with me through the program. Otherwise, certainly you can find my Akashic reading and healing sessions on my website at akashicknowing.com.
Theresa, give your website, please.
It's theresavee.com, Theresa with an H and VEE.
There you go. And I'm GabrielleSpencer.com. Isn't that easy? All right, everybody. We thank you for being here. We love you and appreciate you and love your energy and your good wishes. I am so happy that you felt, I can see everybody's writing in, thank you, and they feel the amazing love and compassion and gratitude. And you know what? Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Much love and see you all very soon. Much love. Bye, ladies. Mwah! See you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Love you.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on the SoulScape Show. Go to soulscape.tv/MC3 for Season 3 to catch all replays from all seasons, to gather all the free gifts from all of our special guests. And for tonight's show, go to soulscape.tv/Lisa-Theresa to check out the free gifts and programs talked about in the show. Namaste.